Continuing from that, people have their work to say. So you just ignore the people. You don't look at them. You just look at what is your next step. Can you do it? If you can do the next step, then obviously you should do it, because you not doing it makes you an idiot. So you should not be an idiot and you should do it.
Hello everyone, hi, I'm Abhishek. I'm the host and the founder of eDAM, and I'm a fourth year CSE student, and we have two other people with me, and they are the hosts for today's session. And yeah, please introduce yourselves first.
Hello, I'm Yuvraj, student of mechanical engineering, third year graduate, working on my own startup. I'm a wannabe entrepreneur. So my startup basically focuses on femtech and clean tech, where I solve the major problem of sanitary pads disposal system.
Cool. So,
My name is Srikanth. I'm a first year CSE student at IRE, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, which is where eDAM was founded.
yes.
Now I'm here in eDAM recording this podcast, but on the side, other than college eDAM, I used to run a YouTube channel in 6th, 5th grade, and then right now I work on ML models and web app ideas.
Fantastic. Okay then, so today in this podcast, today we're going to talk about ideation versus execution. So let us start off with from your words, what do you think, when it comes to ideation or idea, what do you think, do people just have those or they just think of those? What do you think in general perspective?
Well, ideation initially comes from problem identification. So problem identification is the main key aspect. You identify a problem, then come out with a solution for it. That is how the whole ideation process goes.
But for a general student in a normal college, they don't think of problem statements or ideation. They just get an idea, but they don't, many people don't go towards execution. For example,
I'm happy you brought up problem identification, because what are you going to do about a field like YouTube where there is no problem? You're just trying to push your end. What is the problem there exactly on YouTube? Are you going to call it no one's watching my video? Is that there's no problem in this?
Exactly, the content even put on YouTube is not just for the purpose of just serving entertainment. It is also stating some kind of ground rules or some kind of topic. So that is your main problem there.
So, okay, the problem identification in this part is the content you're actually making.
Yep.
So it's not a problem itself, but it's your quality of code. And when someone wants to say make a YouTube video, how does the process? How do you think the process starts? Have you been involved in the YouTube video
I personally never was involved.
Well, how do you think it starts? The idea.
As much as I know, one of my friend was a content creator. So what he basically used to do was identify, pick a topic, do his all research. Then he comes up with what the public would want. If that is what the public would need, if that is what public would receive at the proper end, do they understand that properly? That is the basic thing.
That is sort of accurate, because you mentioned one type of content creation, making what they want. There is also the second kind, the Steve Jobs kind, which I would call it, making what they didn't know they want. These reels that you scroll for so long on social media, did you really want them? Do you you wake up and I want to watch these 1,000 reels today?
Honestly, no.
Yeah. You make that is the second type of content, making what people didn't know they want.
That is when your Instagram and your other applications kick in.
Let us come back to the topic, that is idea. People executing them and not executing them. It's okay, that's a good knowledge to know about. Okay, so yeah, what do you think about ideas? General population, not the entrepreneurs or the problem solvers.
General population. You said ideation and execution, right?
Yes.
Ideation for me is always two parts, which most people think of it as one part. They just come up with idea and then they try to jump to execution.
Okay.
That jump to execution is never smooth, because they're missing evaluation. Evaluate that idea, evaluate our options, evaluate where that idea came from, what its end goal is going to be like. This whole evaluation, there's many factors to be evaluated, and this will help you to jump to execution.
Actually, even in the startup point, evaluation, either problem statement evaluation or
problem statement validation is a very key aspect. Like, without getting your problem statement validated, if you still continue processing on that or working on that, it's of no use. Like,
there might be someone else who's already working on the idea.
It's not necessary if there's someone else who's already working on the idea, you don't work on it. It's just that, does that fit in the market? Is it even required? Is it even a problem? You need to identify that.
And I would like to add to that, someone could also, actually not could, someone is working on your idea. You are not the first to come up with it. There is another person out there, he is working on it. All you have to do is work harder than them.
Or maybe
execute
they
it
have
better.
a better idea or a better solution for the problem statement.
You just have to do it better than them and people will use your solution.
You just have to be unique and keep going.
You
That's
cannot be insecure that someone else is taking my idea, so I'm going to give up. No, you have to you have to make it better than them, because someone is constantly, there's a club like eDAM out there, there's a podcast like that out there, there's people like us out there.
But that is execution.
That is, yeah.
Let's come back to idea.
Okay.
People who think and they don't execute, what do we talk? Like, what do we tell them? What will our suggestion be to them? Because what I believe is execution is the thing where.
So we're trying to help those people actually jump to the transition to the execution. First thing, you cannot tell them anything. You have to try to make them question it, themselves realize it. Because if you tell them and send them home and be like, start the execution, they'll just lose motivation soon. They won't.
Okay.
They don't know why they're executing.
Okay.
So you have to make them realize the importance of execution. You know, someone says they have an idea, then you have to explain to them, what is your idea? Why do you think it needs to be built?
Okay.
You have to make them question if they really need to execute it, or just the idea itself is enough.
There are some people called doers. They just do it. And why? What is the reason? Do you think they are actually doers and not just ideators?
See, because the doers, they actually believe what they have done is actually good research. After this, they need to move forward. They have that credibility, they have that knowledge, they have that
Yeah.
what do we say?
Purpose.
Purpose, yeah.
The vision.
Purpose.
That's the vision. See, if I may quote a visionary, Steve Jobs, during his late teenagers, so when he was finishing up high school, he and his friend Steve Wozniak, the duo we all know and love, Steve Wozniak, his job in
person
Wozniak,
who built the computers.
everything, well, come on, they're known for
Everything
more
in
than
Apple
that.
was built by Wozniak.
No.
Yeah.
Initially.
Steve Jobs and Wozniak is a duo known and loved in the tech community for one reason.
Okay.
During the late teenagers, they built something called the Blue Box.
Okay.
That is basically a phone freaking device of sorts.
Okay.
They didn't think, they just had the idea and they built it. There was no execution, there was no market evaluation. They were like two kids in their parents' garage. They just got together a few cheap parts and they knew the technology behind phone freaking. They could like extract, it was used for malicious intents, which I'm not going to get into here. But it gave them the big push to start Apple. That is where they got their initial money from, to like go on bigger endeavors, right? Because right after that, they started working on the Apple Computer 1.
Yeah.
Which is where the name was first.
The Apple one.
They got it. Right. So they are the doers. Steve Jobs and Steve. I'm not going to quote Wozniak in this because Steve Jobs always pushed Wozniak to do it. You know.
Steve Wozniak was an engineer. He wanted to build things.
Yeah, he liked building things. Jobs liked to get things done.
Exactly.
So he didn't care about.
Also, in that same example, you understand the clarity of vision. Jobs had that vision. Wozniak lacked that vision. That is the reason he needed that constant push.
Wozniak didn't know if it's going to be successful. He was a doubtful person. He didn't always take the risks that Jobs always managed to take so confidently, right?
Yeah.
Jobs also had something called, that people around him called his reality distortion field.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about Jobs.
So, in a nutshell, we can say that our idea can come to an execution. The first thing is research. Second is having a purpose for it.
Yeah.
Having a reason why to do it.
Yeah.
So these are the three like. In our decision, these are the three things which we think that an ideation can go to an execution.
That's the fourth pillar as well. Resources.
Resources.
Yes.
That is the
You
main
want to
thing.
talk more on the resources part.
Like resources can be infinite and finite. It depends on what do you need. So basically, once you have an idea, you can go to an incubation center and you can find out about other resources or other opportunities for you. Or you can work on yourself and get in funds, get in your core
Whatever the
system and
requirements
that time, then you put it. That could be a second kind of resource. So that's
So resources can be items.
Yeah.
It can be people.
yeah.
Can be
anything.
Can be anything. Can be anything that is useful for you
Time
to
is a
build.
resource.
Time
Some
is a
people are just too
resource.
busy to get things done. They have their day job.
So what do you think about resources? What like in forms of ideation to execution?
Resources. Well, see, when I was recording videos for my YouTube channel, I was a maybe 3-foot kid with like a trash phone. It was like very bad phone. I was recording on that. I would like place it on the floor, prop it up against the wall. That was my only resource. Just some trash internet connection that like a 5-minute video took like an hour to upload. That was my entire resource for 1 year. Then I got to convince my mom to let me use a phone.
But you did it. The point
I
is
did
you
it.
started the YouTube.
I started
you
very
made
slow.
the YouTube's videos no matter what.
Yes.
So what was the driving force in you which Let us talk about your YouTube for a few minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so the driving force was that I didn't care about anything. I just
Uh-huh.
wanted to be the kid who posts videos. I didn't care if people watched. I didn't care if people subscribed. No likes, no I don't care.
You just wanted to put-
I just wanted to. I wanted to play a game. I just wanted to put it out there. That's all I cared about.
Nice.
The subscribers and the views, they all started rolling in afterwards. They just came on their own. I didn't. For 2 years there was nothing.
You did it because you wanted to do something. You wanted to put it out.
I wanted
and
to
the
put something
automatic-
of my own.
Yeah, and the output just showed itself.
Yeah.
So that is what that is the same thing which I believe happened with Apple computers also. They just wanted to make
Yes.
really awesome products,
Yes.
and then automatically
Yeah,
the people started buying it.
You can see it still in today's products.
Exactly.
You can.
People crave for buying.
They don't care about they don't care if their products are priced high. They care about the perfection of it. You can't nitpick in an Apple phone, but you can nitpick in an Android. Like, tell me about it.
Oh yeah.
Every day. There's
Every
also
day.
another factor why thinkers remain thinkers and doers are always doers. The fear factor.
Okay.
Not fear of failure, fear of peer pressure, and fear of taking the road untaken, taking the road unknown, less taken.
Less, yeah.
You know, they think that one group is going this way, I should follow them. You know, my classmates are all studying for some exams, I shouldn't do something.
Okay.
My classmates are studying for 10th boards, I'm not going to do anything.
So can we say that doing something unique is also a part of execution?
Yes.
Sometimes yes.
Sometimes yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us talk about your startup after his YouTube. So you also executed. You were were you a thinker before, and what was your transition to becoming a doer?
Well, I was a total thinker before because I am still scared of executing everything. But later on, when I realized, like, I joined the team very late, like, because I was scared to get into this ecosystem because career and all that is a basic thing for engineers. But the problem statement in itself that pushed me. So for me, the push was the problem statement, but for anybody, it could be anything.
So it is one first thing is like we can say that a person why they don't execute first thing is fear. Like that is the main thing.
Yeah.
Fear, insecurities, or
Thinking too much
Thinking
is also a
too much,
problem.
overthinking.
Even, see, I never thought twice about my YouTube channel. I was like, hey, I see an upload option. I just
That's
click
it.
it. That's it. No thinking. No thinking. Just do it.
so what can we say to the people who are afraid, fear, or overthinkers, or
Well, yeah, don't think much first of all. And if you have an idea and you're scared to start it because you think when it fails that everyone's going to be mocking you, ha, look at this guy. While we were all doing proper studying, he was out there doing some shit. But don't worry, because even if you don't fail and succeed, they will still mock you for something. People will say something. It's their job to say something. You know, regardless of what you do, how much you succeed or don't, today or tomorrow, anytime, people's job is that, and they will keep doing it. So just don't let that bother you.
Continuing from that, people have their work to say, so you just ignore the people. You don't look at them, you just look at what is your next step. Can you do it? If you can do the next step, then obviously you should do it, because you not doing it makes you an idiot. So you should not be an idiot and you should do it.
let us look at this from a career perspective.
Okay.
Thinkers and doers, same thing. So when it comes to career perspective, for example, there is this guy. He wants to learn a technology or something, but he's still in that phase only. They are afraid where they might not learn it entirely, or
Yeah.
they might not be a good at that technology, and they don't do it. What can we tell to those kind of people?
I know that from first-hand experience because I was bad at everything I started.
Uh-huh.
Just because I started very early.
Okay.
YouTube at like 5th grade. And I tried to learn to code in summer of 8th grade in Python. I managed a few things, but I wasn't very good at it. To those people who want to learn but are like scared because they'll like fail or drop out, don't be scared. First, try to find your motivation, because without motivation, even if you push yourself, you'll still fail. So first, see the technology. In eDAM, we have 100 days of technology program. Go view the material; it's free. We have mentors to help you. See if you like the material. If you're considering taking up Python for a career in that, you can first talk to our mentors. See how Python is like. Type a few lines out. If you like it and you want to continue, that driving force will keep pushing you forward to learn every day. Because people who are into something, they're interested truly in it. They don't learn for like 6 months and then stop the course. They learn every day, all day, every day. They keep learning as long as their career goes on. And if they, even after their career ends and they retire, they still like it, they still keep learning.
But
yeah.
if it is even okay to quit in between, like if that doesn't suit you, shift. Look for what you want. Like there are multiple technologies out
Yeah.
there. It's not web development, app development. There
There
are
are
hundreds.
No, they are only 12.
12. Yeah, cool. So yeah, there are 12 options available. So they can
Yeah.
choose one, whatever suits them. They can pursue a career in that. It's always finding what suits you.
Okay, so I personally, like, I have a friend. let's call him X or something.
Yeah.
He is very talented, but he's afraid to talk. He's an introvert. Like he calls himself introvert. I am not calling it. So what do we like? What do you think we can suggest that person? Because see, what I think is the people who do, they get more opportunities.
Yeah.
The people who network. Let's talk about networking also in the coming friend, because there are even people who want to talk to people,
But
and they don't. Let us talk about that. So
well, lobbying and networking again, there are very important for your career
Yeah.
because people you know will come in handy. There, you need to know people. You cannot be the lone wolf who like takes on everything.
Well, the broader your network is, the easier your connects are. Like you
Yeah.
can get in anywhere, you can get out anywhere, you can get your work done easily. Snap at your
give an
fingers.
example from your life story. Like how did networking help you the most?
Well, I connected with multiple startups in T-Hub initially, so that brought me to my personal mentor, where I could network with him. He is a mechanical hardware mentor, so I learned a lot of mechanics from him, the machine design perspective, analysis perspective. So if it wasn't for networking, I wouldn't have met him. So on the other hand, even on terms of registration and other part, so you need multiple connects there, not only on terms of student mentors or student with community. You need uh, politicians, you need corporates, many other things. So you need that person who has that connect with everyone. So once you have that, it's all in your snap of your fingers. So everything goes easy if you have a network.
Exactly, your life is more easier if you know more people.
Yeah.
From your perspective.
Well, I have everywhere I go. I try to network. Recent example, not very recent, but in 10th grade, MUN, you know.
Mhm, yeah.
MUN, you have to lobby for your votes and that. That I wasn't very good at because I didn't get what MUN meant either. So, but an important person who gives me a lot of information is he's a person named Viz. He's from Nigeria.
Okay.
How I met him is a long story. Well, I'm not gonna make it that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was researching on credit card fraud in 8th grade.
Okay.
How it happens, why it happens, and the process of it. So in that process, I met this guy who was also trying to look into the same things on the dark deep web.
Okay.
Then we started exchanging information like what happens in your country, what happens in India.
Okay.
I learned a lot about the Nigerian, how the tax structure is there, and how he didn't have a job before, but in these 5 years that I knew him, he is now a successful forex trader because the laws there allow for that. The laws in India don't allow you to trade for a pair that doesn't have an INR as a base currency. So yeah, networking is important for information. It's important for connections. You have leverage. Leverage is important. So networking and lobbying gives you all of these, which can decide the fate of your idea, startup, or outcome, whatever you're trying to do.
Before we were talking about failure,
Yeah.
how people are afraid to fail, and I also wanted to talk. It's okay to fail, and why is it okay to
It's
fail?
required to fail.
It's
You can't-
required. Yeah.
Failure is a requirement of success. You can't just. There's no one who succeeds on the first try. You know, even to the naked eye, if you see someone who like succeeded very early, to him it's like he failed 1,000 times before, which we didn't see. For us, we're just thinking, oh, he succeeded very early. This must be his first attempt. He got lucky. No, he tried very early. He tried very hard. He tried a lot of times. He failed a lot of times. You can't just have success. Is never a luck. It's always it's after a sequence of failures.
Your take on failure?
Well, failure, I don't see failure as failure, it's more as an experience. I term it as experience. So until and unless you have that experience, you don't put that in hand for success.
Yeah.
So definitely failing is not a necessity, but when you fail, it's okay. You have to just take what you learn and move on. That's it.
So for the people who are afraid to fail, we can tell them.
All of
just
us
do
have
it.
failed.
We're
We're all failures sitting here.
Oh yeah, true.
We're all working towards something. The important thing is you keep working. Don't give up because you failed once or twice or 1,000 times. You know, Edison, he had to reinvent the bulb 10,000 times. And what he said was he figured 10,000 ways to not to build the bulb.
Well, exactly.
That's important, how not to do it, because then you will know exactly how to do it. If you figure out all the ways to not do it, you'll always get the correct result, you know. And to your friend who was like scared of networking, maybe you need to try to make him see how it's helping him, no? Take him to a networking event in his field and maybe try to get him to network with something that will help him. Maybe he'll see that it's useful because that's the truly only way to get them to, you know, open up. Because I know they can't be like very social, really interactive, but they need to see the purpose and use of it. Then they'll open up. If not for their own sake, they'll open up for their career's sake.
Okay, you're sick.
Yeah.
This question is for both of you. For an person who is, let's not call them an introvert, but for a person who is now that's social. What can we tell them for them to become from thinkers to doers?
Thinkers to doers. So they're not
Because-
not very social,
They're not very social.
but you still want them to go from thinkers to doers.
Because we are so like we need to make a case of arguments where you can tell them that this is gonna help them in their career or at least in their professional life or personal life.
Well, I would give them an ultimatum. I would, quote Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay.
You cannot do everything by yourself. If you are truly smart, then you will have a network of smart people, smarter or smart people around you. You cannot be a lone wolf in this world. You really do need help. And if you want to be a lone wolf, you need to challenge them to like take up all the roles that are in the go towards their goal, whether it be marketing, networking, the product development, the web development. They can try taking it up all on their own. They'll realize it's way too much work. It's easier to work with a team. Or they can try joining a team first. That can be the first step to like realizing how important working with people can be rather
Even
than
for startups, it's the same thing. They need to work in a company first before they start their own
yes,
company.
that's the point of an
Well, that
internship.
is very true. Like you need to understand how the demographics of a team work.
Yeah.
You need to understand each and every person is talented in their own field. You cannot be talented in each and every field. Yeah, you can have knowledge in each and every field. Not exactly you don't, but still there is one person who is exactly best at that work. That is when you delegate your work to that one person. That is how startups work.
Yeah. My hackathon team takes a very like fits perfectly into this description. We were a team of 4. Every person had one job, and we like did it as perfectly as we could. I'm sure you saw the designs of Finn, the yellow color palette, the web app.
I don't remember. Sorry.
Well, the whole design was done by one guy.
Okay.
You said it was impressive, so it was done by one guy, Aditya. His name is Aditya.
Okay.
He's in my class. He did the entire design. I did the web coding, the to-do list and all that.
Okay.
I embedded them into the site. And then there was one guy who did two of us are over. The third guy, Vishal, he did marketing research. He did
Okay.
how we can, commercialization. If
Understood.
the jury asked us some questions, how would you implement this into the real world market? He did all that research and pitching. The fourth guy helped me with debugging. He would look up bugs, why they're happening in JavaScript, because I was new to JavaScript and CSS, so he would look them up and help me. All of us smooth teamwork, and yeah.
It made your work easier, right?
Yeah, we placed third in there.
That's
See,
fantastic.
And that was the first time. All 4 of us first time ever going to
To
a
hackathon.
hackathon. We went because we just wanted experience. We were like, we can't just sit home and want experience. We will go, we will fail, and we'll have a good time. That's the whole idea of it. We didn't even want to win.
That's nice. Okay, let's talk about execution. We spoke about ideas and thinkers and all.
And then transitioning, now we're on
Transition,
execution.
now on execution. So when it comes to execution, okay, right now there's this guy who's listening to us and now he's like, okay, cool. Now he wants to do something. How do we push him forward? Where does he start? He or she?
Depends on what his end goal looks like. If his end goal is like a fixed point or something,
No, because see, to do something, then we should start. Like let us maybe start with research. For example, a person wants to build let's take an example. A person wants to build an application. He has an idea, okay?
Right.
This guy wants to build an application. He has an idea of something. He wants to build a Swiggy application. Now, where should he start?
research.
Research. Exactly. What research? Development research or market research? A different type of research.
Well, first you have to just Google it, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
How to research
an application?
not that, but yeah, sure.
Even
Even that, even
application, but yeah, the
Even that
basic
if it's-
terms. On the basic terms of your whatever work you have to do.
depends
that
on
should
how
be done.
familiar he is with his project. If he's like brand new to this, he doesn't know anything to Swiggy, then yes, Google everything. There's no shame in Googling and find out. No question is a stupid question.
So it's like understanding your ground.
Understand your ground. First, have full grip on what you're dealing with. If you already do have full grip, next step, research on what you have to do, what you're wanting to do, see if it's possible, see if it's practical, and then see how you can work towards like if you have the skill required. Skills, research first, research your grip around it. Research what you're required to do, what software you need, what platform to build it on, then you need to research the demographic. Who are you
How about we
targeting?
put it in 4 W's or what is that? 4 H's? What, how, and who? Like
It's actually
What,
three W's.
how,
three
Why,
Ws.
what, and how. WWH.
Why,
yeah.
what,
Yeah.
how? Sure, yeah. First, once you have a basic grip, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
What exactly are you building?
And
then
how will you do it? That is how your entire research structure set.
So that is the framework which I was coming to for execution. First is what? You understand what exactly do you want to build, and then why? No, first why.
First should be
First,
why.
Why are you doing it? Because you should have a reason or a purpose.
That's your driving force.
That's the driving force why you should go to the end till end of the project, and then comes what? What exactly are you building, or what exactly are you doing? You figure it out and you write a procedure or framework
pseudocode. Say.
pseudocode, and then how to build it. And once you figure these three things out, for a person who has an idea, can come to
You
execution.
can, yes, you
Yeah,
can.
he begins
Even
with
if it's
execution.
not very fast, with these basic steps, it's very easy to like move from a smaller step to very small step, right? But instead, previously it was idea to execution. The gap was this
Exactly.
big. But how did we narrow it down? We narrowed it down to idea, evaluation, the research, then execution. The steps are getting smaller.
Yeah.
Take incremental steps, but
That is
very
progress.
small. That is progress. Yes.
So more, how about like after execution? There are so many other problems even which comes in when in an execution also. So how do we face those problems? And yeah, one more thing what I want to discuss is giving up and not giving up. I understand that why is the reason why, like, you keep the driving force of doing something, but some people give up because they feel like this whole day everything bad is happening.
Yeah.
I don't want to continue.
Yes.
What do I do now? What do we do? No, tell to those people.
Personally, different people have different strategies. I'll
Uh-huh.
give you mine, but before we come to motivation, final thought on execution.
Okay.
To the general public, those are not in tech.
No.
In tech, execution and finishing is like they're separate points.
Uh-huh.
This is like called something called running the code in between.
Uh-huh.
But if for the general public, they think I have executed means I have finished. No, those two are not equivalent. Between start of execution and end of execution, there's a lot of things happening. That's where things can go wrong. That's where you lose motivation. And now that's why we need motivation. What's your take on how do you not
Motivation.
lose motivation?
Well, it is first basic thing. You don't give up. You have to stick it through. But that being said, you need to understand how you can stick it through. You need to endure yourself for that. You need to just keep going. Not every day is the same day. You need to understand that. Every new day is a new challenge. Just take it on, move on.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. Personally, I look forward to the challenges. When the code runs smoothly, it's not as challenging. I wake up and I go, okay, what errors am I gonna get today? And personally, I don't think at all about what's going on
You
today.
just face them.
You just face it. Yeah. I don't think is today gonna go good. Is today gonna go bad? Yesterday was bad, so today's gonna go bad. No, I don't think. I just go try to move forward as fast as I can. Not as fast as stably as I can, without losing any motivation. Don't think too much about if you're losing motivation or not, because you actually will if you think about it. Just try to power through your errors. Keep your driving force always in mind. That's important. Why are you doing this? Why?
Purpose. Why?
Because if the why is not clear, the how will never happen.
Fantastic words. So one more thought what I have is, let us divide the general population of, let's consider only Hyderabad. Let's not go anywhere else. Only Hyderabad, because we have been in Hyderabad for a long time. The general population can divide as, first group is people who just don't care.
Yes.
We just don't care. They don't do anything.
care.
And the people who are trying, because I understand that some people are trying to do something, and the people who are already doing. So we don't have to worry about the people who are already doing, because they already figured it
They're
out.
already doing.
They already figured out what to do, why, everything. So let us talk about the population which is trying to do.
And you also don't have to worry about the ones that just don't want to do anything because they've made up their
They've
mind.
made up
Okay.
their
A person who has made up their mind, you have to
No,
respect
I
their wish.
actually want to talk about them also, but after some time.
Right.
Let's talk about
We'll circle back to
we'll
them.
circle back to that.
Those who are already doing, they're already doing. We're happy to help them. Not that we won't help others. We will. eDAM is happy to help anytime. But those who are already doing, that's good on you. We would like to know how you're doing it. We would like to take your input as well if you'd like to tell us about your experiences. But then the people who are trying to do something, the
Exactly.
lost souls, those are who we're trying to help. The
Because
lost souls.
I get a lot of messages saying,
Yeah.
bro, I want to be a part of
Same.
it, but I don't know what to do.
Same, yeah.
They're like, I want to be a part of an executive team, and they don't know what specific role they want to do. And I asked them, okay, cool, let's figure this out. What skills do you have?
Yeah.
But I don't know what skills I have. That is a wrong answer.
That is
So
absolutely.
you know what I think? You want to do something, you know what eDAM is. Okay? Where you think you can add value to eDAM, what you can do to eDAM so that eDAM can progress, you let me know that.
Yeah.
And
You let them know what you're bringing to the
Exactly.
table first. You don't demand
Exactly.
something
You don't
first.
demand them
You don't
something
demand
first.
from the table. You offer to the table.
And then we automatically we help you do something, and you do something for eDAM, and we all go forward.
Yeah. So these lost souls, the problem is not just related to applying to eDAM. Anywhere you go, people are like, I want to do something. I want to
Exactly.
do. Then there's people who have more of a general idea of what they want to do, but they don't know how exactly. For them, we're here to help you. You can tell us what your end goal looks like, which technology you want to use through 100 days of technologies here. There's so many wonderful technologies here, wonderful mentors, material. You can take a look at the material. You may not like the material, that's okay, everyone has their preference, but we will get you hooked.
And you can help us make it better.
Yes, you can also. You may learn the technology and have teaching better than us. So that's the problem with people who have a slight idea of what they want. They have no clue what to do.
And one more thing what I say is, some like the people who want to do, they even want to start a startup or they want to be a part of the startup. And the problem statement over here is they don't find startups.
Misguided.
Now, guidance is the major aspect that startups are dealing with. Like that is the main problem. They lack guidance. So all they have to do is once they are ready to get into the startup ecosystem, they need to start finding the proper steps or proper method that they can follow for their execution. So be it an incubator or be it your college incubators or be it even eDAM, you can directly come, you can validate your idea, you can know the next steps. If everybody is working, you can see the people who are already working and get guidance from them so that what you should do next. So that is the basic thing for startups.
You mentioned evaluate your idea with eDAM. I'm glad you mentioned idea because most people who want to start startups, they don't have an idea. They just want to start startup. That's a problem.
There are even people like that.
Okay.
No, there is many of them. They're like, I want to work in a startup. They don't have an idea.
Because startup is a new thing right
So,
now. It's like a trending
They don't
topic.
even know what it means.
Yeah, so people as such who want to join a startup or who just want a startup but they do not have any idea, they can connect to different startups like who are on the basic level, foundation level. They can just network with them. Again, networking is the important
Where do I
aspect.
find you? For example, let's consider Sneha. She has skills. You are a startup. You are somewhere in IARE. How does she find you?
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the major source of finding anybody.
Yeah.
So you just put it on LinkedIn, you prefer your search references, and you find multiple startups there who are looking actually for co-founders. Like
Yes.
multiple startup has recommended many people for onboarding as co-founders on LinkedIn, Hired, and your Indeed. So that is the main goal. You just have to network.
Yes, given that you have skills you can bring to the table, management skills or people skills as a co-founder, other than that, you cannot have a startup without an idea. So to those people who just want to work in a startup but don't have an idea, you can either do what I said, you can join as a co-founder with skills
Or
you have to
any
bring to
other
the table.
position.
Or if you're the technological end of your team, you can try to get an idea first. Keep the idea of a startup in the back of your head. When you have an idea, you can transform that into a startup.
Actually, I want to make one thing clear. A startup is not an idea. It's a problem statement.
Yeah. So
It's
coming
never
on
an
that
idea.
note, so people who just want to start their own startup, they have such skill sets. What they can do is explore different problem statements. Like for example, SIH, the Smart India Hackathon that gives in multiple problem statements. They can just pick what their interest goal lies in or what their skill set lies in. So even Startup India page, even they given multiple problem statements. You just have to go and pick one. It's not necessary that you need an idea to start a startup. You just have to pick a problem statement.
Well, to pick the problem statement, you need to know if you can solve it or if you have the skills. That's what the idea is
Then you
for.
do research.
Yeah, again.
Well, there's two ways to go about it. You can first research the problem statements and gain the skills, or you can research the problem sets that go along with your skills.
No, what I personally would suggest is go with the skills.
Yeah, that's better. Right?
Exactly, that is better.
Saves
Instead
time.
of going for looking for a problem statement, it's like, okay, yeah.
What if I don't have any skills? I just want to see what's the most popular problem.
Without skills, what the
statement.
hell are you gonna do outside?
Then
Then
you
learn
start
them.
building your skills
Then
again.
you start building your skills.
Well, no, my implication when I said let's say I don't have skills was that I look for a problem statement
Okay.
and I learn the skills needed for it. Rather than aimlessly learning technologies, I want to learn what's required for a real practical problem.
Okay.
Right? That's a better approach.
That
rather
is
than-
actually a better
That is a better
That's what I
approach, but what would happen is that the problem statement might expire. See, every problem statement has its own limited period of time where you can work on it.
Yes.
So by the time you're gaining or developing your skills for that problem statement, it would have been expired or there are multiple people doing it so that you are not required there.
See,
That is experience.
yeah, I'm
That
glad
is
you
experience
brought
there,
up.
but you're not working as a startup there. The whole point is you come in as a startup.
Even gaining skills counts as startup experience.
Oh,
there,
yeah, I
because
can agree
You
on
chose
that.
a problem statement, you work towards it, someone else solved it, or it expired.
That's
You can't help people
can't
because
help.
problem statements expire all the time. It's not like there's no guaranteed date on a problem statement. It's just the word.
Yeah,
The
it's
word
just
is
the
random.
word problem statement. But the thing is, the skill set that you have, then again, that skill set,
Yes.
keeping in hand, you can look for another problem statement. It's not that you have to work on the same problem statement again.
The thing is, when
Yeah.
you select a problem statement, you gain practical experience as to how to approach it, the skills you need for it, and these skills are again useful for a similar problem set. So you
Exactly.
learned a language, you learned some part of web dev, say you learned some backend. You can absolutely use these for another problem set, and you can keep adding on these skills. And eventually, there'll come a time when you just instantly select a problem step, and within a few weeks
Just
or
do it
days,
like that.
and you'll, with a team, hopefully, you'll have a solution. That's the goal, right? To reach that stage.
That's the end point.
Because people who learn full technologies and like masters at it, they cannot solve a problem statement in like 2-3 days, even with a team. They take time. But with this problem statement approach, you will learn skills and be able to solve problem statements very quickly, efficiently.
So for the people who are, we categorize into three categories. Not doing anything, just don't care.
Trying.
People are trying to do it, and people are doing it, so they just
We're done with
do it.
those.
So over here, so for these two groups of people, we would say that if you want to, if you want to have a good career, or if you want to have a not good, at least better than what you're having right now, you just do it. Just do it, as Nike
Just do
says.
it. Yeah, that's very good.
That's very, yeah.
Just do it.
So yeah, let us talk about idealist, realist.
Oh, my favorite. Yeah, idealist, realist, practicalist.
Practicalist, yeah.
We have a lot of those.
We
Yeah.
have, let's talk about these three categories, these three people, idealist and realist and
So Steve Jobs was an idealist.
Uh-huh.
Steve Wozniak was a realist. He was just
Okay.
Steve Jobs would give him an idea.
Uh-huh.
This guy would be like Woz would be like, that's not possible. Jobs would be like, you're fired.
Oh yeah.
That was the entire run of that is the entire run of the Apple company.
do it
from
or
like-
don't do it.
That is the entire run of Apple company from in the early 1970s. You know, if people didn't do what he said, he would fire them. That's legit what he did. There is an example where he wanted the Apple boot time. You know, the time it takes to load up a operating system.
crazy.
It was like 24 seconds or something, which is still crazy fast for that time. But he wanted it down to like under 10 seconds. His engineer said that's not possible in 1 month. They got it down to 5 seconds in 2 weeks because of his reality distortion field.
Yeah.
Just because he didn't give them another possibility, right? So to these people who like don't want to do anything, if you don't want to do anything truly, that's fine. You have your ways, you be on your way. But to those who are trying to do something, no, there is no other way. You cannot just be there out doing nothing. Even on a day where you're trying to think of something you can do, pick up a hobby, pick up a technology, do something of that's gonna increase your thinking power, increase the way your mind plots routes when you face a problem set.
Any take on idea or like
Ideas, idealist and
Idealist. See, okay, idealist. Mostly, you should have that vision. You should carry that vision all the time. But that being said, also you need to keep doing that. You need to keep executing that. Steve Jobs is the best example for idealist. Nobody can deny on that.
Yeah.
But again, you need to start doing it practically as possible. Because I am more of a realist than an idealist.
However, can we even say that Steve Jobs was a realist because whatever his ideas were, they were
They were
executed.
executed.
Well, the thing is, the problem in that statement is he didn't execute. He had his executioners who were really good at what they
But
did.
isn't the concept of realist that people who think they can do something actually can do it?
In that context, yes, he did what he thought he would,
Yeah.
but he didn't directly do them. He had a lot of talented
He had
people.
But
working
still,
for him.
getting
Yes.
things done is also the part of doing it, right?
Yes, it is. He used a bunch of people smarter than him at technologies, and he brought his vision to life.
Had-
Yes, you could call Steve Jobs a realist, but I would like to refer to him as an idealist,
Idealist.
anytime. He is because his idea is always better than the whatever happened there on
Very
stage.
well said.
Because the products that Steve Jobs built is just a tiny part of his life. The ideas he tried to propagate were like much bigger. If you read about his biography, that's why I like to refer to him as idealist. I'm not interested in his Apple part as much.
Okay, how about the last category?
The ones who don't want to do anything. I already told you, people, you've made up your mind. I respect their decisions. I don't try to tell them anything. But yes, if they're in immediate danger, I would tell them that you're going to fall off a cliff or something. But other than that, you have to respect their wish that they've made up their mind. You cannot afford to waste your resources on them.
Cool. Let's just sum up what we spoke from ideation to execution and all. So the first thing when it comes to ideation is they need to be proper not fear. First thing is not fear. And second thing motivation, and then
Groundwork,
research,
resources,
resources.
resources like 4 pillars. And then when it comes to execution, you just do it. That also research.
Just 3 questions: why, what, and how.
Why, what, and how.
And if there's any people taking notes of these steps right here, don't, because when you start step 1, you will automatically see where to step 2 if you've done everything in step 1. This is not something to take notes of. It's just how your mind should work through naturally. If you're having to look through notes to like develop something, an idea or anything to a problem statement, that's not how it should work. Your mind should naturally go from oh, now I have an idea. Now I have to like find skills to execute it. Oh, I have the skills.
You'll
Here's the
already
execution.
get them automatically. You're
Yeah.
doing something, you see a
You just
problem,
see
you
it.
just have to figure
It's
it
more
out.
like a path to be followed. It's just like you just keep
Exactly.
going.
It's
That's
just
it.
the road.
Figuring out.
Yeah.
You just have to figure
These
out.
steps we listed, we don't have notes with us.
Nope.
This is from practical experience. We knew from the things that worked for us and from the things that also failed.
Yeah.
From things that failed, we'll know a lot more than things that work.
Cool then. Don't be afraid of
Failures.
Yeah, absolutely. Fear is natural, but it should be your job to beat it and power through.
So are we ending this with a quote or anything?
What was the quote you said in between? That's nice from me.
Good. Cool. Okay then, fantastic. Okay then,
Ideas come from the way, the why comes from the motivation, but with fear it will never translate into a how.
yes.
The how and the execution will never happen.
Execution will happen if you don't have a why.
Yeah. That's true.
Cool
Thank
then.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. You can listen to us on Spotify, YouTube. For now, that's it. Cool. Thank you so much.